Walking in with niche business ideas isn't enough to be a successful entrepreneur on Shark Tank. Instead, a more important skill to have is being able to entice the sole people who can make or break their business. People with deep pockets, yes, we mean the sharks. But sometimes, even after doing everything right, businesses simply don't thrive as expected, while other times they break records. Today we'll find out how Truffle Shuffle is doing since Shark Tank. First up, the story behind the Truffle Shuffle. It's been 3 years since two former French laundry chefs, 29-year-old Jason McKinney and 32-year-old Tyler Vorse, graced the show with not just their infectious energy and great sense of humor, but also with a unique food company concept. Ever heard of truffles? Or maybe the more appropriate question would be, ever tasted truffles? We're guessing the answer is no, considering the highly prized delicacies cost an arm and a leg. There's a reason why they've been named the black gold of ingredients. And guess what? That's exactly what the chefs were selling. In hopes to run their own restaurant one day, the pair formed relations with truffle hunters in Europe, selling consciously sourced and traceable fresh truffles to chefs in different restaurants through their app and later website. The two entrepreneurs even launched their shelf-stable truffle product line, consisting of truffle popcorn, truffle salt, and brown sugar truffle honey. Things were looking pretty good, and Truffle Shuffle made around $65,000 in their first year and $486,000 in the next. And then COVID came along in 2019, forcing all the company's buyers to close down their restaurants. With 20 pounds of fresh truffles and a shelf life of 5 days, the two had to figure out something fast, or they might have never recovered from the loss. Luckily, the two chefs quickly pivoted and began to lead online cooking classes, sending out their truffle ingredients to the people. Not to mention, McKinney and Vorse even made a deal with Whole Foods to sell their products during the pandemic. Now that's what you call thriving in the face of adversity. Next, Truffle Shuffle ended up landing their dream shark, Mark Cuban. As was expected, all 5 sharks weren't just mesmerized by the overall business strategy. Though as appealing as their numbers first sounded, things began to get a little murky as the sharks began inquiring more about their cash flow. While Robert seemed to instantly resonate with the brand's vision, the rest of the sharks were a bit skeptical about the company trying to juggle 2 business models, preferring the company chose one focus, either their virtual classes or their truffle product line. Another issue that arose was the way the two chefs were handling their finances. Shark Mark was especially alarmed by the $8,000 profit on the $1.4 million made, saying that things weren't adding up. As more and more concerns rose to the surface, you could see the nervousness creeping onto the faces of the previously confident chefs. Despite praising how dynamic the brand is, Lori was the first one to drop out, followed by Draymond. Robert offered the chefs $500,000 for 20% equity. After this came Chef Wonderful, aka Kevin's not so appealing offer to give them $500,000 debt with 25% equity. And then Mark jumped back out of nowhere after first claiming he wasn't interested. A few minutes of negotiations later, the pair finally struck a deal with him for $501,000 and 18% equity in the company. Even though they shaved off more equity than they might have liked, Truffle Shuffle now had the key ingredient for their recipe for success. Moving on, people felt like the chefs made the wrong call. After Tyler and Jason happily closed the deal with Mark, people couldn't help but point out how unfair the whole thing was to Robert, who seemed like the only shark truly passionate about the Truffle Shuffle business, especially excited to take the brand's online cooking classes to new heights. As the name suggests, the Truffle Shuffle cooking experience has been shuffled way too much from the ordinary, and don't we love it? Upon its appearance on Shark Tank Season 12, the episode segment called This Cooking Experience, the Peloton of Cooking, and we think it's pretty apt. To really understand the brand's vision, you must learn that having fun with food is an integral part of success, and Truffle Shuffle hit just the right chord for that. From having engaging chefs and curated recipe boxes, to turning the virtual Zoom classes into a party that ends, of course, with a tasty meal. The foodie experience in a box was more than just a healthy meal prep delivery service with pre-packaged ingredients and a recipe, and Robert seemed like the only one who recognized it. Let's look at how the aspiring Peloton of cooking is doing now. The question remains, how is Truffle Shuffle doing now? Since appearing on Shark Tank and securing a deal with Mark, Truffle Shuffle has been expanding its operations. That's right, the company's still in business doing justice to the black gold. Partnering with Mark afforded the chefs access to marketing and accounting business resources that ultimately helped them reach their goal of being an inspiration for millions of budding cooks that want to become the next master chef of their homes. And although it's no secret that when the brand appeared on the Kelly Clarkson show back in 2021, its restaurant scenario still had bleak chances, as not to say Truffle Shuffle isn't doing well. Today, the brand is currently in 75% of Whole Foods, continuously expanding, while also offering more classes than ever. Truffle Shuffle currently offers several weekly online cooking classes along with ingredient kits, and has even started a pre-sale membership offer. Wow! As discussed in an interview, the brand boasts to have cooked with around 100,000 people virtually. So luckily, the company has seen a steady rise in profit and has made as much as $1.4 million to now as revenue. That That's some number. No doubt that their classes sell out ever so quickly, ranging from $50 to over $250. The cooking brand's cost varies depending on the type of recipe. Safe to say the business remains successful and continues to shine bright as a growing and prosperous enterprise. So let's see where this commodity trade takes them next. Other successful Shark Tank businesses, starting with Bombas, which is soaring and flying. The company co-founders David Heath and Randy Goldberg sell comfort socks and more recently t-shirts, and has been blowing up since Damon John decided to become the product shark and ended up making a deal with both of them for $200,000 for a 17.5% stake. The best part of the company has to be how socially responsible it is. For every item purchased, it donates one to charities that support the homeless. Over the years, Bombas has given more than 50 million items to more than 3,500 nonprofits. In an episode 712 update segment, Damon called Bombas and other companies, and we got to know that they have now combined sales of over 11 million since appearing on Shark Tank. Season 11 added yet another update and highlights the business's work with the homeless, while also revealing that Bombas is now the #1 sales earner on Shark Tank with over $300 million in sales. They returned in February 2020 as the top earners with $330 million in sales. With 45 million pairs of socks sold and 160 people employed as of June 2021, they are doing $171 million in revenue annually and are headed toward becoming a billion-dollar brand. Up next, Scrub Daddy also made it big. Who remembers the incredibly durable, reusable super sponge designed to clean both sides of kitchenware in one go? EO Aaron Krause obtained a patent and invested $75,000 in creating an initial batch with brand new packaging. And since then, Scrub Daddy has become the second highest earning business on Shark Tank after Lori Grainer invested $200,000 for a 20% stake in October 2012. The business pretty much exploded, and it hasn't slowed down since, said Aaron. The sales were $100,000 before Shark Tank, which became $209 million after it. By April 2012, he had secured 2 successful appearances on QVC's shopping channel, where Scrub Daddy sold out in just 8 minutes, and a weekend front-page business feature in the Philadelphia Inquirer. With the addition of scouring pads and erasers, mops, dish wands, microfiber towels, and soap dispensers, Scrub Daddy's product line has grown. Earlier in January, Aaron even traveled to Australia to introduce Scrub Daddy. Soon, it'll be offered in all national Kohl's and Woolworth supermarkets. Lastly, Squatty Potty is also doing pretty good. Now, this is one Shark Tank product we won't forget. A toilet stool from a personal care brand, well known for helping people have easier bowel function by relieving constipation and other typical bathroom complaints, helping position the body properly on the toilet. Squatty Potty single-handedly transformed how people use the bathroom, and a lot of its 2015 popularity came from hundreds of millions of people watching the brand's viral ad because of its comedic tone. The unicorn Dookie was having trouble releasing his rainbow soft serve in the restroom when the commercial first aired. Children were delighted by Dookie's efforts as his issues were resolved with the posture-correcting Squatty Potty, attracting the interest of Howard Stern, Dr. Oz, and other famous people. Lori Grainer saw the potential of the product on Shark Tank. Grainer reportedly contributed $350,000 for a 10% stake in Squatty Potty. The investment was successful. Sales for the company total $175 million, making it the 3rd highest earning business in Shark Tank. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think of Truffle Shovel's growth? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.